Welcome to the EDU Lead Podcast. The University of Maryland's postdoctoral graduates will dive into the real challenges principals face and the strategies they use to keep great teachers in the classroom. Let's explore solutions, ignite new ideas, and make a lasting impact, because great teachers are supported by great principals and district leaders. Please welcome our host, Dr. Brandi Taeschner and Dr. Tameka Wright.
Okay. Greetings and welcome to the Principal's Office. In this dynamic space, we engage with educational leaders from across the state of Maryland to explore effective strategies for tackling the critical issues of teacher attrition and retention within our schools. Together, we will uncover actionable insights and innovative solutions from educational leaders that can foster long-term success within our school communities. Facilitating the discussion today, I am Dr. Brandi Taeschner, and an instructional coach from Calvert County Public Schools, and
I'm Dr. Tameka Wright, an elementary special education supervisor from Prince George's County Public Schools. On the program today, we have Dr. Tangela Scales and Mr. David Sembly. Dr. Tangela Scales was appointed principal at Gail Bailey Elementary School in 2019. Before becoming principal, she served as the assistant principal in Charles County for 7 years. She also serves as an educational equity task force member, community engagement and equity liaison, and implicit bias facilitator. Hailing from Cleveland, she began her teaching career in the same city. She has a doctorate in educational leadership from policy from the University of Maryland and is a speaker and coach. As Gail Bailey's principal, Scales focuses on building community relationships, encouraging a growth mindset, focusing on the whole child, ensuring equity, and upholding high educational expectations for all. She is the 2024 Maryland Association of Elementary School Principals Connected School Leader Award winner.
And we also have Mr. David Sembly, who has more than 20 years as an educator. He is currently in his 5th year as the senior manager of new teacher support of Arundel County Public Schools. In this role, he supervises and provides professional development for a team of 50 coaches who work with teachers in their 1st, 2nd, and 3rd years of teaching, and new hires to the district. This number totals approximately 1,200 teachers per year. His team works to cognitively coach teachers to become reflective practitioners and make teaching a lifelong passion. Prior to working with new teacher support, Mr. Sembly served as an elementary principal and middle school assistant principal. In his spare time, he enjoys attending his 3 sons' sporting events with his wife.
All right, welcome to the Principal's Office, the best episode. In this episode, we're going to hear the perspectives of an elementary school principal and an administrator leading the Human Resources Department. We're excited to hear how your thoughts and ideas around teacher retention may differ, but mostly how your work in strategic collaboration may support ways in solving this problem at practice, teacher retention and attrition. We have a series of insightful questions to explore with you, and we're eager to unpack the factors at play and the solutions that can help keep educators in the classroom. As a leader, what is your role or responsibility in helping to retain effective teachers in your school and your district?
My role as a principal is to create a supportive environment that prioritizes a culture of belonging, trust, care, growth, and success. I give teachers the time they need to plan effectively and coach them to be reflective in their practice. I also ensure that they feel empowered, valued, and a part of the instructional decision-making. Retaining effective teachers starts with listening and honoring their professionalism.
Mr. Sembly?
So in my role with new teacher support, we look at coaching the teacher as a whole individual. And part of that, Dr. Scales' point, is making sure that people feel welcomed and part of a school community. So we get to work in collaboration with all stakeholders, building administrators, not only on the hiring process, but looking at what supports they put in place once teachers are there. And so it involves bringing them in as decision makers relative to their professional development, expressing what their needs are, and making sure that we provide a catered experience that assists them with meeting the needs of their students.
So I heard both of you talking about instructional decision making and that shared ownership and empowering your staff. That is really critical, I have found, as an instructional coach, to really make sure that everyone feels like when you're working with them, it's like a partnership and there is that reflective piece. So I appreciate your responses. How do you build trust between your teachers and your administrative team?
Okay, on the elementary level, trust is built through consistent actions, listening, leading with a servant's heart. So servant leadership is hard, but somebody has to do it. I believe in providing autonomy. And when I say autonomy, it is my expectation that my teachers and staff follow the vision of the school. But one is a vision that's collective. It's a collective vision, and it's based on mutual respect. So but I also know that teachers and staff, they have their own vision as well. So my job is also to support them. So it's a reciprocation of autonomy, being present and coaching rather than policing. There is no I got yous at my school. So I also set examples by being open, being honest, and showing that it's okay to make mistakes. Most importantly, I ensure that we maintain a culture that's grounded in belonging and care, where staff feel safe to grow and be themselves.
That's awesome. Do you do anything differently for your first new career teachers in your building versus veterans?
Yes, actually, I was going to talk about that later, but I can say it here. One thing is that I personally have always been in charge of new teachers as administrator, and just because I'm principal, it doesn't mean it stops. So I'm in charge of new teachers. I give that hands-on personal touch. You have a question, you have a problem, I have an open door policy. You can come right here to me. Secondly, like Thursday this week, so I always already have long range planning, a full day of long range planning for every grade level, every teacher once a quarter. But in addition, new teachers, they have an additional 4 hours of collaborative planning, and it's with me. Maybe I'll do a 30-minute PD. I will do it myself, or I'll have an outside guest, and then they get to plan some more. They get to ask questions. They get to find out about decisions that we made in the past and how we built this culture. Like, they didn't get a whole year of cultural competency in the brain. So we did a book study on that. So I'll give them snippets. They weren't here when we did implicit training for a whole year. So I get to give them that background. They didn't have equity training because I did that in my second year. So then I get to give them a piece of that. I get to show them the understanding, go back into formative assessment, and then they get to plan some more. So those are the things. I provide lunch for them. I make it so relaxing.
So from the new teacher support perspective, at the district level, we work with administrators, whether that's through survey feedback or through our coaches who are kind of boots on the ground with respect to what they're seeing in these buildings. I guess to foster kind of that relationship between admin and teachers, our coaches can serve as kind of a conduit or liaison of communication between administrators. Lots of times we are welcomed into their leadership meetings where we can give the perspective and advocate for new teachers in terms of things that are rolling out, the speed with which they're coming, what folks are able to digest. Many times we'll sit in collaborative planning meetings or other meetings where instructional decisions are being made, simply to be an extra set of eyes and ears. So when we walk out of a room with a new teacher and we can say, now, did you really understand that? What did that really mean to you? Lots of times we're that safe space because, we're moving at the speed of school. And many times our new folks are not able to keep up and they don't even know what it is that they want to ask. A new facet that's a bit of a phenomenon everywhere is the increasing numbers of teachers who are not certified or licensed. So they're career changers, hearts in the right place, but they don't have the pedagogy, they don't have the training, they may have the content, and in some cases they don't have all of that. So we try to make sure that we are keeping administrators aware of where there might be deficits, gaps, pitfalls, also helping them to definitely maintain the standard that they expect to see in their building, while not turning a blind eye to the fact that there's a bit of a learning curve involved.
Mhm.
So we have folks who are both new to the profession, untrained, trying to acquire licensure, taking
Mhm.
classes, they're doing all those things. And so an administrator, they might come in a room and say, 2 weeks ago, we talked about this thing. And so as the coach, we might be able to say, and we continue to work on that thing. And we recognize that it's not where it ought to be, but we try to remind them that it also isn't where it was.
I also wanted to add, I wanted to give a shout out to my county in particular, Charles County Public School, because they have something and it's called the BEST Academy, and it stands for Beginning Educator Support Team. And so what they do is they meet every other month and they pay a stipend of $70 to meet with them. And they also this year created, and that's been around for 2 or 3 years. And this year, based on data, they created an elementary collaborative cohort. And this was based on new teacher feedback, and it gives educators time to do exactly what Mr. Sembly said. They give them extra time to complete daily tasks, because that's really the work, grading, planning, creating resources. And then we also have something called anchor teachers. I have 3 of them in my building that I personally picked, but you send those names over and they get trained and they also learn how to coach up our new teachers. So it's real-time support, real-time mentorship. And then of course they already have your admin that's supporting you, but we also have an instructional leadership team. And then on top of that, the anchor teachers, which gives them the personalized guidance. So I really wanted to shout that out because it's innovative. It's something that came in with Dr. Navarro, but there's Cindy Pryor, Velvet Gibson, and Holly Dolan that actually run it, and they run it with their hearts, with the teachers in mind. So I felt that was important. And they do a little mix and mingle for them because everything is, it's so much work. So you need that heart in it.
I have that really connects with me in our district. We're trying to really build that culture around coaching, and that it, like you said, it's not a gotcha, it's a I'm with you partnership, and how can we support each other. And I like how you said a conduit of communication, Mr. Sembly, because a lot of times new teachers are working to process just the day-to-day, not simple tasks, but the daily grind of working with students, every minute, especially at the elementary level, where, they're planning for multiple subjects and different content areas. And to have that common language that matches the academics, and then also making the connections between the principal's vision and then what their vision is for the classroom. So I really think that as districts look to support teachers and to highlight what are some of their coaching practices that they have in place, could help with that teacher retention. As long as the teachers understand it's a trust, you have to trust.
And Dr. Scales, how did you make the space within your building for those 3 individuals to go out and get that training? Are they classroom-based instructors? So how
Yeah.
can you talk about?
So they are classroom teachers. So what we have, like just around this time every year, they say, hey, can you select 2 or 3 teachers to be anchor teachers? So then, like I said, what I love about Charles County right now and what I love about myself is that everything that we ask teachers to do, we embed the time. So I personally, when we talk about strategic and intentional, I'm not going to ask my teachers to do anything that I haven't given them the time to do, because that's the number one thing that they always ask. I need time. So I'm giving you this new thing to do. when am I supposed to do it? Because everything I'm supposed to do, that time is already taken. So I think it's important, and they do it as well as the county. They put in the time for it. So yes, these teachers actually meet after school. If they're going to be an anchor teacher, it's like directly after. They have to get on Zoom or go to the board on certain days to get their training. But then also, I give my teachers time in the building to help. So they do these mini observations so they can do coaching and pull out the teachers at times so they can talk to them one-on-one.
What initiatives have you put in place to improve teacher retention in your school and your district that you haven't shared already? You've mentioned a few things.
So me first, if I say the number one thing I do is build cultures. We have a social committee here that is amazing. And so everything cannot come from me. So I have a vision, and then other people take hold of it the way they want to take hold of it. For me, it is everything is about belonging and care. So that's the heart of what I do. So I can't take care of everyone at the same time. So we have other people in the building, like I have wonderful secretaries who love to feed people. Then I have a social committee that loves to throw little parties or unannounced things or get together. So we're building a community of family, right? And then for me, one of the things that I do personally when I walk in this building, I am probably in everyone's classroom every day, like just checking, hey, how are you? Just like I would do my students, how was your weekend? Do you need anything? When I'm checking in their rooms, they might, like Mr. Sembly said, they don't even know what they don't need or what they do need. So not only am I checking to see how they're doing and they tell me what they need, but I'm also looking around and I'm listening. So then I can do exactly what I need to do. Like, oh, I need you to go in there. You know, I can get an assistant, or maybe I need an IA to go in there, or maybe I need ILT. I noticed this when I went in there. So not only is that a part of my coaching, but when I'm visiting the classroom or visiting them, I'm listening. So I got this from Dr. T up there, a listening tour. So I'm always doing listening tours now. And that is providing me information. I'm a big formative assessment person. So I try to apply that with the adults around me as well to make sure they get those personalized needs met.
Oh, that's so exciting. I want to talk more later about your listening tour with students, teachers. Like, do you do them mostly? Have you been able to do them with teachers and students?
Yes, you taught me something that day. So I was like, a listening tour. Oh,
Awesome.
God, get it. So you know, I've been creating my own question.
Perfect.
My first one that I did was about, we'll go into that later, but it was about safety.
Okay.
It's important that just like children feel safe at school, it's important that teachers and staff feel safe as well. That's part of teacher retention.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so at the district level, one of the many responsibilities of the new teacher support team, it starts with new teacher orientation. And so I always preach to my team that we only get one opportunity at a first impression on these teachers. And so the work begins there. Part of what we try to do is to provide a bit of a differentiated experience, meaning we have sessions that are available to people we know who are seasoned and coming to us from other LEAs or beyond. And then we have folks who are brand new. And so we try to offer some differentiation from the moment they join our team. And then part of what our mission is, in part, we try to retain these teachers through instructional coaching and differentiated PD opportunities. And so what does that mean? That looks like there are certain sessions that we have in place that we provide that are work in conjunction with the ebb and flow of the school year. So we know at the very beginning of the year when formal observations are coming out, teachers want to know, what does that look like? What is the process? So historically, we've offered a PD that is available on the formal observation process. So it's about eliminating the surprises. And so we have several other PD offerings that happen throughout the course of the year. And many of them are responsive to surveys that we give to teachers relative to what they need. Again, I referenced before that we have coaches who are in every building. They're not there every day because they're in all the buildings. And, you know, if I had my rathers, we'd have the the staffing and the availability for there to be one full-time in every building, but that's just not the reality. So what happens is when they're out there and they're speaking to teachers and they're coaching teachers and they're seeing what some of the gaps or deficits are, and they're talking to administrators about what they'd like to see, we kind of compile all of that periodically throughout the course of the year to say, is the PD that we're offering meeting the need? Are the topics still appropriate? Sometimes the topics are appropriate, but we have to differentiate the process. And so those are things that we are looking at constantly. All of the PDs that we offer are supplemented by a survey because the PD that we provide is grant funded. And so of course we have to demonstrate that folks are utilizing what we're giving them. It's one thing, it's nice to offer it. It's even better when they come, but it's really the sweet spot when they go and they do something with it. And so we take surveys throughout to see the effectiveness of professional development that's provided. And we determine, we have some that are tried and true. We have some that have to be modified. Sometimes we write them from scratch. So this year we had one called Winning the Fourth Quarter because teachers are looking for engagement strategies at the end of the year when all of our students are asking, does this count? Do I have to turn this in? Patients are waning, et cetera. Real life stuff where we try to take input from the folks to whom we are providing the professional development. Is this meeting your need? Where you've got to be. We talk to principals, those folks, and we share with them folks who have attended what. Lots of times principals want to know, did my person come to this? Or that, and all we can offer is that we've made it available. We can tell who's been there, but there's a confidentiality component to our work. So we don't get into the nuances of the discussion, but we certainly say the things that folks have attended, the things that people have availed themselves to. And that's how we try to keep the professional development train moving in the right direction.
Nice, very reflective process. I like that, winning the fourth quarter. I might have to ask one of your coaches to give me the PD. What strategies have been most effective in retaining highly qualified teachers? So thinking of like the actual, we've talked a lot about how do we support our teachers once they're here, but as you're trying to think about retaining highly qualified teachers and even getting them to the table. Are there any specific strategies with recruitment or hiring processes that you have found to be effective?
Go ahead, Dr. Scales. I think you're muted. We can't hear you.
We can't hear you. No.
You can go ahead, Dr. Sembly.
If you'd like me to jump in there while she's working through her microphone. So I can state, as a former administrator, and as someone who still gets to attend this, as a district, we do some job recruitment fairs where it's open to the general public, and we get a feel for, kind of get a jump on who's out there, what's available, and in so doing, we can, as administrators, we'll even collaborate to say that this particular person, I might not have a spot available, or it might not be the best fit here, but given what I know about this school over there, or this administrator over here, here's somebody that you might like to look at. So much of it is, it's about fit. Dr. Scales spoke to a sense of belonging. And we have to emphasize that, and we have to not just provide folks with lip service, but we have to take steps to show that we want them to be there and we're invested in their success. I think a lot of it is that paradigm shift. I'm looking at it through a coaching lens. As Dr. Scales mentioned before, you have to kind of take a grow ya approach and not a gotcha approach. And I think that once people really realize that is the culture of your school, your building, your district, they are more likely to be vulnerable and ask the questions that they need to ask so everybody can grow and develop. I think that it's essential to have constant and consistent communication. So one of the things that we've talked about in the district, we looked at Brene Brown's work, and she talks about how clear is kind. And so a form of kindness is being clear with the expectation. And sometimes even as coaches, even though we are non-evaluative in our role, we do have to be warm demanders. And we have to say, these are the steps that we said we were going to take. And so we cannot talk about this as a continuing problem until we've at least tried the things that we said we were going to try. And sometimes even as a coach, as an advocate, you've got to take that hard line stance and say that you have to be accountable and invested in your own development as well. So we can only give you these things. We can reflect with you on these things. Implementation is hard, and implementation is your responsibility.
Yes. So I would like to agree with that. So if I had to say the perfect mix would be providing dedicated time for collaboration is one, because teachers will always tell you every day they don't have enough time. So embedding the time, being intentional at the beginning of the school year, my instructional leadership team, we sit down and we carve in the time. Everyone knows when their long range planning is in September. So you know it for every quarter. All right. If I say I believe in social emotional learning, and it's not just for our children. So we're doing a lot of breathing here, but also it was something new that I added, and it was 10 minutes in their schedule. So I'm not telling them to make it work. When we created our schedule, we put it in there. So being consistent is what all teachers want. They want you to be consistent. You said this, then do that. Don't do this and do this. But I still provide equity because you need to give teachers what they need. And sometimes teachers need different things.
Yeah.
I also will go back to just the culture. Do I want to come to school? We've all worked places, if you've been in this business over 20 years, where you had these butterflies when you went to work. And you're like, I just don't want to be here. So I want to provide an atmosphere where I want to be here. We feel like a family. We talk like we're a family, and we are. And also providing that autonomy. Like, you have to allow a voice to be said, like, I want to do this. Okay, let me help you. Like I said, I personally am a servant leader, but everybody around is, if you came into my building, I don't care who you are, what you will see is a group of people who will help anybody. So when they come in, they're going to get the help. Nobody really wants to leave that. I'm leaving. Everybody's like, are you taking some of your teachers? They were like, we want to stay here. I did end up taking a couple because of positioning, and we didn't have all the space this year, but yeah, it's like a good culture. Who wants to leave it, right?
You always know, like at this time of the year when like the transfer requests and all of that comes out, you can really get an idea of what the true culture is in your building by the number of teachers that want to transfer in versus the number of teachers that want to transfer out. I don't know if your districts do it the same way as our district, but that really informs, I think, as a principal and a leader, you know, if a bunch of people want to leave, then maybe we do need to look at culture and building that trust and that collaborative effort. Absolutely.
And I just want to add to that for this year. And typically I might have one teacher, and I think one year I had two teachers, but I had no teachers this year. I had a couple of teachers that are applying for promotions that want to leave. But in Charles County, yes, you can transfer building. So to me, that's big. Like, I still want to be a teacher, just not here. It's a big message to me. And I understand some people want to move closer to home or something like that. But like I said, this year, you know, we had our transfers. No teacher wanted to leave except for a promotion.
That's nice.
Can you share an example of a successful retention initiative that had a measurable impact?
So I don't know. I would just say this is successful, having 100% of my teachers want to stay this year. What I can say is that quarterly, I do a forums about how they feel about the school. And I just asked a couple of questions. How was this quarter? So third quarter ended maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. So I sent out a forum saying, how was your quarter? What would you change? And what do you need? And everybody, so it was a 4.3 out of 5, because you know that they give you like a little data point. So I would say overall, My staff is happy. They want to stay. There are some people, of course, they want different things changed. But you know what? They say thank you for reading it, because those are little, even those little things. You said, oh, I needed this, or I want this, or I thought this. I can go back and explain processes, protocols. I can provide any extra help or support in those forms. I can actually give resources too. Like I needed this and I didn't have it. So if I miss something, it just gives me an opportunity. So that's just another layer of things that I can help my teachers.
You keep your finger on the pulse of your staff.
Thank you.
And I would say, as a program, the new teacher support program is in and of itself, we often say we are both a recruitment and retention strategy, meaning having that person side by side the first three years of your career to coach you along, motivate you, encourage, advocate, all of those pieces to give you ongoing feedback in a non-evaluative fashion to help you digest when you do get that evaluative feedback. What does it mean? What are next steps? That continues to be a tried and true practice. So again, our two largest tenets are professional development and personalized coaching. And so many times if I travel with our HR team, I have in the past to various job fairs, it is a selling point because a lot of these teachers, one, they recognize that it's they have more options than perhaps they had 15, 20 years ago. And so some of them come with that, what can you do for me idea or mentality. And when you can say, we're going to provide you with a coach for the first 3 years of your journey, that is in essence a very effective recruitment tool. And then we take data again throughout the year, but also at the end of the year, where anyone who is serviced under the umbrella of new teacher support, they give us feedback. They can do it under anonymity, so that promotes honesty. And we give them commentary sections where they can talk about the things that are working. And historically, we're at about a 90% clip of folks who say that the program has had significant impact in either their willingness to stay or desire to continue. And we have about as high a number of folks who, for whatever reason, have decided that this is not what they want to do or where they want to do it. Even they say that the program plays a contributing role in the reason they stayed for as long as they have. And so we're very proud of that.
Awesome.
So utilizing that data once you collect it is really it's like the so what now what piece, and that's really important. So okay, we have talked about a lot of strategies for recruitment and retention. The next question is, how do you support early career teachers to ensure their success and longevity in the profession? Thinking about, like, if you had a magic wand, if you had one thing that you wished for all beginning teachers, and that support would come from the magic wand. I know that we all do things and we all try things, but I feel like part of our, not problem, but is to build that hope for the profession again. So thinking about the educational profession and rebuilding the fact that we are life changers, educators, and that idea of hope is so critical. So thinking about hope in that scope, how can we support early career teachers to ensure their success so that their longevity in the profession continues?
Okay, so one, I remember a time when I did not support a teacher. She was new in the profession, and I am a reflective practitioner. I was just not flexible enough for her. She had a young child. She was coming in 10 or 15 minutes late, and school started 30 minutes after we get here. So I could have gave her that time. I could have worked with her more. I thought she was a great teacher. The students loved her, but I was rigid at the time. This is one of my first years, and I wasn't flexible. So things that I think now is being flexible. If I had to do it over again, I wouldn't have sweated the small things.
Hmm.
The teacher, she does planning. She has a young child and she needed that extra time. So I would say be flexible. Make sure that you provide time for collaboration. Make sure you provide support and from many different levels. Like we also in Charles County have mentor teachers. I personally don't have one at my school. I just have the anchor teachers just because my school is small, but we at times I've had a mentor teacher as well. But consistent check-ins, providing access to instructional coaching is important. And Mr. Sembly, um, he already talked about that. And I always ask this now, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Mm.
So I'm not interested in just what they're doing right now, but I'm also interested in their future. I'm fully invested. So I'm thinking about how I can help you get that to the next level. So some people are thinking about being in maybe a librarian or maybe not librarian, but media specialist now, but instructional leadership. Like, I might want to get into reading coaching. And so we're talking about how do we build upon that now? So I think that is looking toward their future, collaborating, offering autonomy, and giving them the time that they need and being flexible.
Thank you.
And if I could add to that, I'd say, obviously there's so many facets, particularly these days, to getting teachers to commit to this as a lifelong passion. I think much of what we have to do, again, talking about those first impressions, is we've got to balance honesty and encouragement, meaning we've got to give teachers a broader understanding of the depth of the responsibility and how much work it is. I think many of them, particularly those who have not trained for it, they come in with a set of ideals about what this will look like, and then they become very disillusioned toward the very beginning of things when the reality of all of the day-to-day administrivia, when that kicks in, and the number of meetings and responsibilities and parent communication. And so I think we want to balance providing encouragement. Certainly we don't want to scare them away. That is not the goal. But we want to paint a realistic picture so that they have a better understanding of the undertaking that is teaching. And then we want to give them bite-sized, palatable chunks of growth opportunities and give them time to implement those things.
Mm-hmm.
I think as a district, with building administrators and all stakeholders, we certainly have an obligation to our students to put before them the best possible, highly qualified folks. And I also think that as the landscape continues to shift with regard to the folks who are coming into the profession, we have to balance that with an appropriate amount of time for people to implement the things that we are giving them.
Yeah.
And to demonstrate growth and to demonstrate that they are moving in the desired direction. Otherwise, we're going to find ourselves at a place where we just keep starting over. And ultimately, students are the ones who lose when we do that. And so we are not talking about lowering expectations, but we are talking about a shift in approach, about grace, and we are talking about ongoing feedback that give teachers opportunities to meet the expectation. And then through a coaching lens, sometimes it is a last resort, but sometimes we are responsible for helping to coach people out, because not every loss is a loss. Sometimes all of the professional learning and supports in the world don't make a person an appropriate fit to be in front of students. And so there is no black and white, hard and fast line that you can draw to determine when that is, but you've got to look at all of these things in aggregate. And sometimes the decision has to be made that this is not the thing.
Yes, that is very powerful because we want the best people in front of our students. How do you foster a positive school culture and teacher morale?
Can you ask the question one more time?
How do you foster a positive school culture and teacher morale?
Like I said, you have to give them a sense of belonging. I want, just like I want students when they come, I want them to bring their most authentic self to school every day. And the same thing with my teachers. I don't want you to hold back who you are. So I want them to know that leadership looks like them, like we're here for them. We do staff recognitions every month. We do a lot of relationship buildings. We as administrators have to have a strong morale. So things that happen toward the end of the school year, it's a lot of gossiping, backbiting. I can't. Two is staying visible. Communication is the key to everything and being consistent. Like I said, we have to pump each other up. So you come into the Lion's Den and we're going to be excited every day. Like I said, just like I greet my students, I greet my staff. Like, hey, are you good? How can I help you? And I think if you are doing the cheering, it's contagious. Whatever you do, whatever you're doing as a leader, it is contagious, whether it's good or bad. Okay? So just continue to do that. Be visible, communicate, consistency, listen, and hear what other people are saying. Keep your ear to the street so you'll know what's going on. And who is you can find out. But I do believe what Mr. Sembly said, if someone has to leave, and this has happened in my past, it has only improved our school personally. Like this is just sometimes people get tired and sometimes this is not what they want. And it's absolutely okay. Maybe you don't want to recognize everyone. Then this is not the school for you. Maybe you don't want to treat everybody right. Then this is not the school for you. And it's absolutely okay. Maybe you don't feel like loving everybody. It's not the school for you. You know, but if that's what you do feel like, maybe you don't want children to be successful, but we do. So this might not be the school for you. But one thing is that you have to have that sense of belonging. We make sure that either our team leaders, our anchor teachers, instructional leadership team, somebody from the admin are making a connection to another adult in this building, so no one is on an island.
And through the new teacher support lens, again, it is about visibility, connectivity. A big part of what we do is we put folks in touch with resources. So when we're looking specifically through the lens of new teachers, there is a lot of support out there for them. They don't always know where it is, or they don't always know that it exists. So sometimes as a coach, we'll put you in touch with a math resource or a behavior specialist or any number of folks that when I'm new and I'm in it and I'm struggling and I don't know that thing that I need, but I know I need somebody, as a coach, we can point them in that direction and we can help them determine what are the questions that they want to ask. How is it that they want to go about implementing these things to modify their practice? And all of those things do have, at minimum, an indirect effect on morale, because when you can show folks that there are lots of people and resources out here who want you to be successful at a district level, that fosters a sense of this is a place where I want to be. This is a place where people want me to be successful. So again, there's no one size fits all. It's a very individualized process. And I don't want to, at the risk of being redundant, but I think that a big part of driving that culture and that morale is there are any number of people who are here and in it with you and who have the expertise that you need. And so as coaches, if we don't have it, we can at least get it to you. And we can sit there with you and we can make sure that you are digesting and understanding what it is that's being shared. We can go back, we can follow up. And a lot of times that kind of assuages that sense of this is too much, this is overwhelming. We have a lot of teachers, again, new to it, who suffer from that imposter syndrome, and they question their fitness or their readiness level to do this work. And so many times we have to be the ones to cheerlead, to model, to co-teach, and again, to align with the appropriate people who can help. And so part of what we talk about is kind of this, the ebb and flow of the first year teacher, and there's a chart that goes with it. And so this is that point of the year where teachers are starting to move toward that rejuvenation, where they are looking forward to next year. and all of the things that they've learned and what I'm going to implement to have a better start, etc. And so when we can get people to this stage of the year and they've added so many things to their toolkit, again, at the district level, that's a morale booster. And so part of what we do is we offer end of year reflection opportunities where all of our first year teachers in the district, if they so choose, can come and they can talk about the things that they've learned. They usually hear somebody from the executive level of our team who will give them kind of a closing. We appreciate you. We see you. We love you. We want you to come back. And then we also give them an opportunity to either write little love notes or messages for the incoming first years, right? So if I knew this at the beginning, here's something I would carry with me. Here's something that I would have done differently. And all of those pieces work together to boost the morale and the culture of a district.
Okay. Something we didn't talk about that I want to mention when it talks about teacher retention is student behavior. So if you want to lose a teacher really bad, really fast, don't handle the behavior in the building. So just like York County, Mr. Sembly, we do have a first year, the first week of school, just before regular teachers come back, new teachers come back for a whole week. So they do some training with behavior. And like you said, some of us, I've only been a teacher besides working at the grocery store, as a teenager. Like, this is my only career that I've ever had. But many people are coming from new old careers, and they're career changers. We'll even be having some government workers now. And this is not what they went to school for. And even if you did go to school for it, if it's your first year and you're dealing with behavior issues and you don't have the support, that's a quick way to lose a teacher. It can be overwhelming. So I would say making sure that we're offering training in behavior management and de-escalation. I'm not sure if they offer that in colleges sometimes, or the way it's written on paper and then actually coming into a school setting and having to deal with it is two different things. Yeah. So making sure that you have protocols in place from the beginning and being able to sit through and walk behavior issues, walking with the teacher step by step and giving them the support they need to handle discipline, to handle behavior management. For us, it's Charlotte Danielson. For us, it's PBIS. For us, it's social emotional learning through Move This World. So making sure that you have those supports in place. And coaching, this is the real coaching right here. Let me coach you in dealing with this student, because guess what? Every year you're going to have a student like this. So you need to make sure that you have consistent rules in your classroom, consistent consequences, being able to talk to parents about behavior. Those are the things that teachers need coaching on, and giving them an opportunity to try those strategies out.
One of the most effective SST teams that I have participated in is where the principal actually talked to the team talked with the teacher about the student behavior, and then the team coached the teacher into how are they going to contact the parent. Okay. They role played, and then they went right into the phone call to the parent, and there was the time right there during the meeting to do it. And I think that went a long way. Our time is now up. I would like to thank you guys so much. We could talk about this forever. We didn't even get through all of our questions, but you guys gave us plenty of content to work with. So that wraps up today's episode of the Principal's Office. A big thank you to Dr. Scales and Mr. Sembly for sharing such valuable insights into teacher retention and the important strategies that help keep educators thriving in our schools. Your perspectives on mentorship, professional development, and creating supported learning environments are crucial to driving positive change. Thank you, as always, to our listeners for joining us today. If you enjoyed the conversation, please share this episode with fellow educators and teachers. Until next time, keep pushing the boundaries of education and supporting our teachers. We'll see you in the next episode of The Principal's Office.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Listening to this episode of the EDU Lead Podcast. We hope today sparked new ideas and practical strategies you can take back to your schools. Remember, when leaders lead with vision, teachers thrive, and students succeed. Until next time, keep leading with purpose and passion.